Now, recently somebody asked about how Reedsy doesn't auto-detect chapters when you import your book. Even if you have them clearly labeled as chapters, sometimes it's not going to pick it up. Luckily, separating chapters in Reedsy is relatively easy, and today we'll take a look at how to do it. Okay, so the first thing you'll want to do is open up your manuscript, obviously, in Reedsy. Put your cursor where you want your chapter to split. I'm going to say right about here with that paragraph. Click on the split chapter scissor icon on the right side, and then adjust your cursor where you want it precisely, and then click on confirm split. Reedsy will now add a new chapter, and you can title it if you'd like, or you can leave it blank and it'll just use the next number in the list on the left hand side. So we're going to leave it blank and hit split chapter. And you see it created chapter 2 right after chapter 1. It's really just that easy. It really depends on where you want your chapters to split. Now, this is quite useful. In fact, I'll be using this tool when I'm editing Shadows of Atlantic City because there are a few chapters that were quite long and could easily be broken up. So when should you split a chapter? Well, back in the day, I'd say put a chapter where you think that a commercial would be if your book was to be made into a show. However, nowadays commercials are just haphazard and skippable, so that analogy doesn't work today. Instead, think of it like this. A chapter break is much more than just a scene break. Now, a scene break in your book can be changing from one location to another or one point of view to another. But with a chapter, though, it is much more of a complete separation from the one before it. Each chapter usually has its own plot device and its own flow. Well, I shouldn't really say plot device, it could be anything that's plot related. But essentially, a chapter is kind of like a standalone part of your book. But how long should your chapters be? Well, as a rule of thumb, I usually keep it below 10,000 words. The length of your chapter really depends on the story you're writing and what you're trying to convey, and the pacing of your book. A shorter chapter usually means a quicker read, and sometimes a shorter chapter is all that you need to convey a certain part of the plot. Personally, my chapters range anywhere from 3,500 up to 7,500 words, depending on what's going on. For example, there's a major fight scene in Fury that racks the word count up to 9,500 words, when most of the chapters are range around 5 to 6,000. But there are just so many things that need to be told in that specific section of the book. So it just really depends on your flow and what you're trying to set for your reader. And can you put chapters in anthologies? Well, you probably could, but usually in an anthology, each story is its own chapter. Usually these are short stories that range anywhere from 5 to 15,000 words, depending on the length of the book and what you're trying to write. You probably wouldn't want to break up an anthology with chapters. I suppose you could, because you can literally do whatever you want, especially if you're self-publishing, but you might want to think about staying away from putting chapters inside of a short story. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. For more videos about self-publishing, blogging, freelance writing, or anything else I cover, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think it's going to do it for me today. I got to get back to writing my book. I'll see you next time.